Hello, Miss Hurst here, and today we are going to make sausage and bean casserole with a side of mashed potato. The equipment you need is a colander, a large saucepan or wok, wooden spoon, saucepan with a lid, potato masher, spatula, sharp knife, 2 teaspoons, a serving spoon and 2 chopping boards, one to chop the vegetables and one to cut up your cooked sausages. The ingredients you will need is 1 pack of sausages of any flavour. If you are serving vegetarians, you may wish to use corn sausages. 1 onion diced, 1 small carrot or half a large carrot, 1 pepper of any colour, 1 tin of tomatoes, 1 tin of beans of any kind. These can be kidneyed beans, butter beans, baked beans, mixed beans, whatever you wish to use, salt and pepper, paprika, tomato puree, butter, and potatoes for the mashed potato. We are using a mix of sweet potato and normal baking potatoes. You will also need some oil in the bottom of your large saucepan or wok. Optional extras you could include mango chutney, sweet corn, mushrooms, lentils. There are a variety of vegetables you can include to personalise your casserole. The first thing to do is get the sausages in to cook. We are going to do ours in the most healthy way, so we put them onto a grill pan and have pricked the sausages so that the fat will drain into the tray below. You can put the sausages directly on the tray in the oven if you wish. They are going to go in at 180 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. Whilst the sausages are cooking, you can make a start on your side of mashed potato. Today we are using a mix of sweet potato and baking potato. We need to peel each one and then cut into equal sized pieces so they cook at the same amount of time. Although sweet potato does cook quicker, so these will need to be larger pieces. Mash can be made using any root vegetable: butternut squash, carrots, parsnips. You could mix it up and use something alternative to potato if you wish. Once peeled and chopped, place in your saucepan with a large pinch of salt and then fill with water above the line of the vegetables. You need to put on the hob on a high heat with the lid on, ready to boil. Check on your sausages and if they're ready, take them out of the oven. For the casserole, add some oil to the base of a large saucepan or wok and then add your diced onion. The carrot does not need to be peeled, it needs to be cut into tiny pieces smaller than diced. This is called brunoise. This is because it is a hard vegetable and will take longer to cook than the other vegetables in the casserole, so the smaller you cut it, the less time it takes. Use the bridge grip to cut the carrot in half and then lay each half flat on the chopping board. Using the bridge grip again, cut the carrot lengthways into battens. Then starting at one end, slice very close together to make tiny little pieces smaller than diced, which are your brunoise pieces. Once all your carrot has been cut, add it to the onion and the oil in your cold pan. Remember to check on your saucepan of boiling water. You may need to remove the lid. Next we're going to chop up the pepper, but we're not going to add this to the pan yet. Slice off the lid, then use your hand to remove the white centre. Cut the pepper into same size square pieces, starting with the lid, and then move on to the main body, cutting into quarters so that you can lay flat on the chopping board and safely cut into squares too. Open any tins ready and drain your beans in the colander in the sink. Take everything over to your cooker and start heating your onion and carrots on a medium-high heat. To speed up the cooking, if you do not have a lid, use a baking tray placed on top. Remember the tray will get hot, so use a tea towel or oven glove when you lift it up to check. It will take a good 10 minutes for the onions to become translucent and the carrots to start to soften before you can add your pepper. Once the peppers are in, give it a stir and it will need at least another 10 minutes to soften and cook before we add any more ingredients. Keep checking back in on your potatoes and the boiling water. Once the peppers are soft, we can start adding some more. We start with the tomato puree. A large squeeze from the tube straight into the pan. We now add some seasoning. A large pinch of salt and pepper. A teaspoon of paprika goes into ours. You can add other herbs and spices of your choice, such as chilli if you would like it to have a bit of a kick. We have also decided to add a couple of heaped teaspoons of mango chutney for a bit of sweetness in our casserole. That goes straight into the pan, followed by the tinned tomatoes. Tip the tomatoes straight in, then fill the tin with a little bit of water, swill it around and add that to the pan too. We don't want any waste. Give your casserole a good stir. If you find it needs a bit more liquid, use a ladle and take a couple of spoons of water from your potato pan and add it into your vegetables. Put your lid back on the pan and turn down the heat slightly whilst we cut up our sausages ready to add. Using your second chopping board, cut your cooled sausages into bite-sized pieces using a sharp knife. Back to the casserole. Give it a stir, then use a clean teaspoon to pick out a piece of carrot to taste. Careful, it will be hot. As this was the hardest vegetable we have added, we are waiting for this to soften so that we know we're ready to move on to the next step. To check on your potatoes, use a sharp knife and poke the potatoes in the water. If the knife easily passes through, they are cooked all the way through, soft and ready to be mashed. When the potatoes are ready, add your beans to your casserole as we need the colander to drain the potatoes. Add the beans, give it a stir, replace the lid, and then take the boiling pan of water over to the sink and tip carefully into the colander to drain your potatoes. Once drained, add the potatoes back to the saucepan as we will make the mash inside the pan. Add a large slice of butter to the pan and put the lid back on. The heat will melt this butter so we can mash it into the potato. Add your sliced cooked sausage to the casserole and give it a stir. It may be easier to do this over on the hob. After a couple of minutes, remove the lid and we're ready to mash. Use your potato masher. You will need to put in quite a bit of effort and mash all the potato pieces in the pan. Once you have mashed the potato as much as you can, swap to the spatula and use it to whip the mashed potato into a smooth consistency with no lumps. Once smooth, either transfer into a bowl to place in the centre of the table for everybody to serve themselves, or split into individual portions on the plates that you will serve. Your casserole should now be ready to serve. Just like the potato, either transfer into one dish for the centre of the table or individual portions on everybody's plates.